Welcome. Today I'd like to discuss something that no one else seems to be discussing, and that would be a side effect of the human crisis. So if we fall into a economic depression or there's some other event that makes the current situation even worse, we're going to see a mass exodus of pets out into the wild. So, I mean, growing up in the 80s, there was a lot of stray dogs. And, I'm not sure when we came out with dog catchers or animal control. I could look that up, but what's the point? So, I remember there was a lot of stray dogs, especially in LA. And I've even watched racing in places like Mexico City and places in Europe where there's stray dogs running across the track. So, lately it's been really good. I mean, hardly ever see a stray dog. I see some stray cats around the city, but stray dogs, nah, that's really, really rare. And that might be because, homeless and tweakers, I shouldn't say homeless, transients and tweakers and meth heads adopt them and take care of them as their own, so that's a good thing. But yeah, that's going to be a real problem with dogs and cats and whatever other pets, ferrets, snakes. I mean, it's a nightmare scenario in my mind. All the stuff that could be just running loose on the streets. So people need to be aware of that as a possibility, a very good possibility, and I'm sure it'll sort itself out eventually. Because if there's a hungry issue, right there's your food running around out in your front yard. So, and the other issue with, in regards to that, why I say that'll balance out, is we're looking at, sanitary issues. If we have issues with utilities, sewage, things of that nature, it's going to get messy, stinky real quick. So, especially spring and fall, and winter in certain areas, obviously. When you have a couple pets and it rains for a week and you're not up there scooping, it's stinky and nasty and murky real quick. So imagine if people had to take a dump out there right next to their dog. Even the cat. I mean, who's gonna stockpile cat litter? I'm not. So that's gonna be, just between people, dogs, and cats, there's gonna be a lot of poo out in the yard. And when you're out of baggies, when you're out of rags, when you're out of toilet paper, when you do shovel it up and put it in a pile, I don't know. So. Yeah. But on that note, back to the balance of nature, you're going to end up with a lot of rats. You're going to end up with a lot of cockroaches. You're going to end up with flies and maggots eating all this stuff. So eventually, the balance will be struck with that even. But in the meantime, that's going to be some nasty business for a while. And it's going to definitely change insect activity and rodent activity for the worst. So I mean, dogs and cats running around, if they're not getting devoured. They'll be doing the devouring, but they will also be getting diseases, very simply curable diseases right now, but nothing will be done then. So if they end up with, second generation, which wouldn't take long to reproduce, then those animals in that litter are not going to have rabies shots. They're not going to have distemper shots. They're not going to have all these things that would normally happen. So you don't know what kind of dog that is that just ran by. If it's got rabies, distemper, worms, what's going on with it. Same with that cat that's hanging around in front of your house looking for a scrap. You just don't know. And people are so used to pets being friendly and places not allowing unfriendly pets and so on and so forth. So I think society is dumbed down to the fact of what animals are. So if you won't be able to treat animals the same way anymore. They're going to be considered a wild thing, and possibly disease carrying, and possibly vicious. I mean, I've seen vicious feral cats, seen vicious feral dogs. Raccoons. That's a whole insane animal when it's cornered. That's an animal you don't mess with. Dogs don't mess with it. They'll tree one, but they're not going to corner one, because that thing will come out and then kick their ass. So I've talked to and listened in on some meetings with people that deal with pests, outdoor pests, animals, and they said they would rather reach in, grab a skunk or anything else, but they will not reach in somewhere and yank a raccoon out. So they're like, that's one animal they will not mess with. They'd rather just trap it and deal with it that way. So the world will definitely have a different look to it if it gets to that point. Hopefully we don't get to that point they come up with some crazy drastic economic and social structure that'll work for everybody. Otherwise, if the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, the animals are going to be getting poorer and they're going to be out in this cold. And when people get evicted and foreclosed upon, those animals are going to be on their own. And it's a bad enough crisis right now to where they have to continually put down animals in the shelters because there's overpopulated and people can't take care of them. And less and less properties are allowing them, and then 10 years later they're allowing them, and then 10 years later they're not doing it again. It's a roller coaster. And there's still people out there abusing pets, which is just beyond my comprehension. But anyway, I just wanted to touch base on that because I haven't heard anybody talking about it, and it's an ugly situation that could unfold with that. So thanks for listening.